this doable. Tap on the spike, Aspas! Jet falls, it's all down to Alpha yet. Noise everywhere, the double swing! Straight down! Unbelievable! And a groan of absolute disbelief from everybody in the building as Alpha yet pulls off an absurd 1v2.
What is going
to
on?
take his team to the very brink. This round should not have been close though. Loud on an eco. And Loud have one shot, one chance.
So today we are going to break down a game that will live long in the Valorant memory. When people talk about Valorant moments, I'm sure that this game between Fnatic and Loud, Map 5 on Icebox, will be one of the moments that we remember. For all the storylines and the crazy comebacks. For those of you who don't know, Fnatic were 2-0 up in this series on the maps, and then Loud came back to get it back to 2-2. We come here to Icebox, and it did not start off well for Fnatic, and it felt like, oh no, they're gonna throw it, right? And it really starts off with Loud's comp again, going for this, very unique Harbor Sky Viper, this thing that they seem to do on so many of the different maps, and that was no different here, as really it starts off with the pistol round, and you could just see straight away, just the different challenges that this, this harbor composition and sky and stuff like that provided, because straight away here you're going to see as Loud come in for, what is a pretty normal, like just full 5-stack B hit here onto the site. They go for this deeper harbor wall here. They send in the Skydog round here. And you see we've got the Nano Swarm and the Viper Orb here from Fnatic kind of on the default plant. But obviously when we're doing this wall for Loud, they're going to push really, really deep onto the site, and it felt like Fnatic's kind of preparation, and when they were defending against the 100 Thieves, who were playing kind of the normal Sage stuff, right, and they were planting here where this Viper Orb is, well, we just run past it, right? Bosa's putting down a Viper Molly. Pretty much everyone on Loud has already passed that Viper Molly, right? And this was kind of one of the problems that Fnatic had, is they were playing against something very, very different. Les managed to find a kill through the harbor wall there, and now look at this, right? We got 4 people all the way pushed up here. It becomes very difficult for Fnatic with this wall up as well, and they're just going to get absolutely destroyed in this round, Fnatic, because, the dart comes up there, they eventually destroy it, and eventually Leo's, there's 4 people here just ready to push him. The harbor wall's there. Loud managed to win the fights with Les kind of, creating this crossfire as well on the other side. They managed to kill Leo as well. We end up in this 5v1, and it's a flawless round for Loud, and this is really how the game started, with Fnatic maybe not quite understanding, how to counter this kind of different approach. And by the time we got to this point, round 11, it kind of felt already over. You're going to see it felt at this point like Loud could just do whatever they wanted, and it was going to work. Aspas is going to end up in Fnatic spawn coming through A, which is not something you often see, right? They go with the harbor wall in here early. They're going to send a second harbor wall in just a second down here towards A. Aspas is going to, run in behind this harbor wall. There it goes, right? So that ends up just there. Aspas is running in behind it. He's going to end up with the dog going forward there. He finds Chronicle just here. They put up this harbor wall just across here as well. This one here that goes all the way across there. And we've got Les here. He's coming up mid, as you can see. But yeah, even though it's going to go back and forth this round, I mean, I don't know how Aspas, he gets tagged by the drone. He gets tagged by the drone and is literally running out here. I have no idea what's going on. Like, how is he alive? He's just putting down his smokes and all that. And now, look, he ends up in spawn. And even though Althea gets this kill, we're going to get a kill back here for Loud. Sadak on Leo just there. So we end up in a 3v3. Bosa goes running, and yeah, I wouldn't expect Aspas to be there either. Durka dies just there. We end up in a 3v1, and Loud, yeah, as I said at this point, it just felt like they couldn't really lose this any round, and the crowd was going nuts, and it felt like, Fnatic, everything was just falling down on them. And it would end up being 11-3 to Loud, and I'm just going to show you, Fnatic would take a timeout. And, well, we got shown this shot here of Boaster, and it just looked like, he just looked like a man defeated. Look, he's shaking his head. It looks like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. In a second, we're going to see another shot of him as well, where it just looks like, you could see, look, everyone's just kind of looking. They look distraught. It looked like they had no chance. I mean, this is a man defeated. A man who knows that he was this close. They just needed one of any of the last 3 maps, and they let it slip, right? But I was saying at the time to my Twitch chat, you know, if you start winning just a couple, Loud will start to get nervous because now they have everything to lose and you've got nothing to lose at this point. And that is exactly what happened. And it started off slowly for Fnatic, right? It wasn't clean. It wasn't anything too much. They kept it very simple. You know, we were doing stuff like this where it's just, let's just go away, right? 5 of us, let's just go group up and go away. And it started off simple for them. And in the round before this, they had to win a 2v2. And in this one, we're going to see they're going to have to win a 1v1. Like, you know, it wasn't clean at first, but they were getting the rounds. And that's all they really needed at this point, just to kind of build some belief that, you know, this was maybe possible. And even though they lose the first kill there to less, they are still just going to stick with coming to A. Loud are eventually going to kind of fight this as a team. They're kind of, you know, we've got 4 people here for Loud early on. This harbor wall comes up. And you're going to see in just a second, you know, they're kind of going to scale up and try and fight this pretty hard as Chronicle puts down the Sage Wall just there to try and come and plant. But he gets stopped by this spam here by Les, and he gets a bit worried the wall's going to break. So in come the Seekers as well. And with the Seekers, up come Loud. And we're just going to get big trades here coming back and forth, you know. 1 kill there, other kill comes in, now we get a trade, you know, that kill goes there, we end up, yeah, a bit of a weird situation, just going back and forth, we're in a 2v2, and we're going to end up in a 1v1 here as Boaster dies there to Cardinal just on this headshot angle, but Durka finds him in a 1v1, and at this point, right, now Durka, you know, he's out of that situation, he's got time to breathe or whatever, he knows he's going to go with plant on B. I can only imagine his heart must have been absolutely pounding. 1v1, you're 11-4 down. You need to win this 1v1. Like, you cannot lose this 1v1. And I can only imagine, you know, he's got time to think about it, which is never really the best thing when you're in these kind of situations. You'd almost prefer, you know, to not have that time to think about it. And Aspas is 21-6 at this point, and we'll get into that in a second as well. But yeah, Durka ultimately, you know, is going to win this round, and this is going to help save the game for Fnatic. He manages to keep his head. And this was, you know, the start, right? And this isn't, you know, clean. It's not perfect or flawless rounds or anything like that. You know, it's scrappy. But as long as you get the rounds, you know, slowly but surely the doubt starts to creep in. And you'll see here as Aspas taps it the second time, you know, I was getting a bit worried for Durka here at this point, but he does manage to find the kill. And Fnatic would go on to win this round. And then slowly but surely, that, you know, lads start going on saves and there's a foothold there. And all of a sudden, it's getting pretty close. And by round number 18, now it's 11-6, we started to see Fnatic start to play with some confidence as well. Now, I would love to ask Boaster this question because I'm not sure the answer, but it felt like they were avoiding Aspas. It felt like the classic 100 Thieves versus Ascend, wherever CNET is, go the other way. It felt like we had that as well because Aspas was frying on this Icebox game. He was just absolutely going crazy. Felt like he couldn't die. And it felt like, you know, wherever we kind of figure he might be, so this harbor wall is going to come up here, and, you know, often Aspas was playing with Cardinal early on. This is kind of a thing they do on a lot of their maps where they send the jet and the sky together. And so you see Fnatic, it looks like they kind of want to come towards B here. They send out the drone, and Cardinal is going to actually destroy the drone here. But I think that might have been a little clue, like, you're destroying the drone very aggressively here. Maybe Aspas is pushed up here on B, right? That's why else? Why aren't you hiding from this drone, Cardinal? Why are you so actively ready to destroy it? And so you see Fnatic, yep, let's go the other way then, right? And this was a common theme. And again, I don't know if this was on purpose or if it was just coincidence that they kept avoiding him, but it did feel like that. As we see, Boaster sneaks up in mid, destroys the turret as well, so that's going to drag people away from A. So even though they have this heavy B control here, Loud, you know, because the turret gets destroyed, they get a bit worried about that. And we get a Viper's Pit here on A as Fnatic do start to come in. So they just send in the Killjoy lockdown just there. Now Les, he's just going to decide to actually just sit in it, right? Keep the pit up. But unfortunately for him, with this Viper's Pit, it means that Fnatic can plant high. So they go for the high plant and the pit doesn't cover it. And we've got Boaster here in mid. He gets flashed, so they know he's still here. But because the plant is high, you know, they can actually see above the pit and get it. Boaster wins a pretty crucial fight there against Cardinal. And now, you know, we got Alpheus snuck into a really nice little position as well. And Fnatic will manage to win this round, you know, fairly convincing. As you can see, we've got the spike here just kind of above the pit. They start getting the kills that they need. And yeah, it was kind of like Fnatic, you know, we start to find some confidence. Durka gets that kill just there on Tui's as well. And, you know, Les ends up in a 1v4 that he's not going to win. And now at this point, you know, the crowd was getting really silent, and it felt like, you know, they could feel the pressure, maybe a bit louder. Fnatic probably at this point started to believe that this is actually possible. And we would eventually get to the point where it was 11-11. It was quite funny that Fnatic, as soon as they started to get close, like 10-11, 11-11, it got scrappy again, because now, again, Fnatic have something to lose now, right? Before, when it's, 5-11, you've got nothing to lose still. But now that it's 10-11, 11-11, now Fnatic, started to make a few more mistakes, perhaps, as, it would get a bit more scrappy. And we had an insane couple rounds here to kind of end regulation. But this one, Fnatic and Althea, what a moment this was. What an absolute moment. They're just going to come in towards B here, Fnatic, again, keeping it relatively simple. It is Icebox, so, it is going to be relatively simple most of the time. And they're just going to come in towards B. And what you'll see here is Loud are actually on a save. Now, one interesting thing I did notice about this round is before in the game against 100 Thieves, Fnatic were doing the wall that cuts across like this, so that this angle can't be seen, but people from high can see you with this wall. They got punished for that against 100 Thieves, so I found it interesting that they, decided to go to this one instead. But they're going to get punished by the other way round, by that angle there, by Sedak, because they're going for the high wall instead. And yeah, this would end up being a very, very back and forth, close round, as you will see as they start to come in towards B. They get ready to go. The harbor wall does come up, but in comes the drone. And Fnatic, yeah, they're going to try and find it. Aspas dashes away, but you see, we get the first kill there from Sadak on Chronicle. And now we're in a 4v5, and they think about coming back here. They leave kind of Boaster here, who does manage to catch a timing and just kind of escape across, and Cowanzy kind of pushed up here and then decides to fall back, that plays his life. But Boaster, because he snuck in here, right, he knows, like, oh yeah, that guy's going to run away probably. He doesn't want to lose his life there, and that might cause rotates, because now he's going to be a bit unsure of where we are. But in we come back towards B, and, well, the spike is... It's going to be close. We go back and forth on the kills. Everyone kind of dies there. We end in a 2v2 with Durka pretty low here overall. We're going to get a great Nanoswarm in here to allow Durka to be able to plant from Althea, right? He's going to throw in a Nanoswarm just there where Aspas is, which means that, Aspas can't really swing this. There you see the Nanoswarm just there. And so that allows them to get the spike down, and we're in a 2v2. But Aspas, he's going to come up high here, and you're going to see that Durka, he's going to come peeking around. But as he's peeking around, he doesn't expect Aspas to be up high as the spike gets tapped. And so he's up there, gets the kill. End up in a 1v2. Althea, 1v2. Sees one. Here's Aspas dashing around. Thinks he's up top. Gets the 2 kills. Unreal, they line up. Unreal. Fnatic map point. And here was Fnatic's map point, but they're going to overcook this just a little bit. They start to come in towards A, as you can see here. And again, I think, the initial call is, let's just go A. Harbor Wall comes in just here to kind of, threaten some support. And then Leo's going to have a little gunfight there with Aspas. And again, this kind of, is lending into this clue, this theory that, oh, we've seen Aspas. Everyone kind of retreats back. Everyone gets like a little bit scared of Fnatic. It just felt like as soon as they see him. But they do, initially start to come back to A. But again, they're going to get repelled kind of a second time here almost, as Boaster is going to come up towards mid. And there's something very, very important that happens in this round. With Loud's setup that I think ends up causing this round to go the way it does. So again, Aspas gets tagged there. Fnatic, they think about coming for this A push, but I think Boaster wants to destroy this bit of mid utility to perhaps, bring some players away from Loud, because as Fnatic coming up, you can see there's 4 Loud players here already, right? So, we're kind of already there for Loud. We can kind of, defend this site pretty well. But Boaster here, right, this I think is the crucial part. There's 36 seconds left, and the turret is here in mid. Now, I'm not sure if Boaster can hear this turret or not, but the crucial thing is, he knows that the turret isn't here, right? He knows that the turret isn't in kitchen. He can't hear it in kitchen. So what he thinks is probably either the Killjoy is, deep on A, and is actually out of range of this turret, and it's gone down, or there is no turret here, and maybe they're going, for some more aggressive B setup or something, and, they're trying to hold this with the Killjoy setup, or, this part of the B site. His point is really that he thinks this is open. And so, he makes the call with 36 seconds left. Guys, come this way. Come mid. They've got, their setup either must be heavy A, heavy B, but nothing in mid. So we can come mid. They're trying to, get us on that. But, I found it. The thing is, we know that an alarm bot is there. But Boaster doesn't know that the alarm bot is there at this point, of course. So look, back come Fnatic, and they're sprinting towards mid all of a sudden. But, the Cardinal Sin of Icebox is don't go mid, right? And now this alarm bot goes off, and Boaster now realizes, unless is just here watching it, And so I think he just perhaps read it wrong based off the Killjoy stuff. The Harbor ult comes in. Actually stuns Sadak, right? Actually, Sadak runs into his own team's Harbor ult. Kind of costs him, to be honest, but he does manage to win both fights here. And we end up in a 4v2. Alfia gets a kill back, and now Boaster gets a kill back as well. But the spike, only 11 seconds left. Aspas gets a kill back, and now Boaster, I mean, I thought it was going to be over, but look at this. We slightly missed the wall, which gives him a chance to actually plant the spike here. Kind of a miracle crazy happening as well. He does manage to get the spike down just in time, literally just in time, but Loud played this well, right? With this much pressure on, this is pretty well played by these two Loud players. You know, just holding hands, sticking together, swing together, get the kill, and we would go to overtime. And then after Durka would hit a couple up shots, including a collat, we would end up at round number 26. And this, oh my god, the tension during this round was unbearable. Because Loud are just going to set Aspas here on A. And they do this a lot, Loud, where if they get Aspas into a position they like, they'll just leave him, right? And just stack the other side of the map. And just trust your Aspas, you will deal with it. And, well, Fnatic, they end up going away from Aspas again and in towards B here. But Loud, by this point, you know, have got kind of the read. Yeah, Aspas is up here, we're fine there. And so they all come and stack B. And this is not a good sign, right? When you're attacking into something like this, the hardball's up. This is not a great sign when you got this many people here on B already. But Fnatic are going to make it work. They're going to do well enough here to ultimately win this game and win the tournament. So you see, this harbor wall comes up and the time starts ticking now as well. And I was thinking, if they just wait for this harbor wall, you know, they kind of have to come B. At this point, right? And so they are going to run into a 4-stack. And you look at the map and it's kind of crazy. But again, they do well enough. So Dark comes in. We send in the slow there. We get the jet smoke. Durka dashes across. And it all is kind of quiet for now. The drone is coming in at the same time. That does tag Kalanzine just there. But now we get Chronicle and Durka fighting side by side. We try and trade that. But Chronicle finds those 2 kills. We're also going to get a kill here in the smoke. As Alfia, I'm not sure if he just spammed smoke there. Got a kill on Les as well. 2v5. Wall goes up. This wall does get destroyed, and it's a bit of panic there, but Fnatic, they kind of, you know, breathe a bit and come and say, okay, let's just swing as a team, find that kill there. We end up in a 5v1, and at this point, I think Fnatic could feel it. Even though Aspas was 30 and 14, and he was frying on this map, this would have been the most unbelievable thing that's ever happened in Valorant if he won this, but he's not going to win this, as Durka is going to find this last kill as he gets revealed by this alarm bot in just a second, and Fnatic pull off one of the most unbelievable comebacks I've ever seen. Considering the crowd going crazy, considering it was 11-3, how just deflated they looked as a whole, this was truly remarkable. And, I mean, they deserve it. And you see how much it means to them. As, yeah, this was just a crazy, crazy game of Valorant. Something that, honestly, I'll remember for a long, long time. As long as I'm covering this game, this will be a game that I always remember, because it was just the emotions of it all were just so incredible. And yeah, for Fnatic, it was a nice win. And for Loud, it was a sad loss. I felt bad for the 2 Loud players that didn't win champs, because you could tell the 3 had won champs, you know, were kind of like okay with it, right? They were kind of like, yeah, come on guys, it's not the end of the world. But for the 2 that hadn't won it, it kind of looked like they thought it was the end of the world. But Loud, they got such a young core, they will be back. If anything, Loud are only just going to get better, so I wouldn't worry too much if you're a Loud fan, because they're already amazing, and they've got such a young team that they're probably, as long as, you know, they kind of stick together, they're going to continue to be amazing. But yeah, there it is. Fnatic managed to win in one of the most crazy series you'll ever see, and yeah, I'm glad I watched it with you all, and if you did watch the stream, thank you, and thank you for watching the coverage of this whole lock-in tournament, which was an absolute blast.